there is this entire economy that's built on top of crypto. People are transferring each other crypto. Everybody eventually imagine, let's say across the world, is a crypto owner. Can those people come to a bank like offering which is equivalent to Flint? And then let's say, just like what you do on your bank account, you deposit your money, right? You deposit your crypto, you get interest on top of it. Let's say tomorrow you can use a credit card or a debit card on top of it and use that crypto somewhere. Let's say you can do peer-to-peer payments to your to people, right? You can do peer to merchant payments also. So that's the entire stack that we're building today.
Would you like to earn crypto every second? Everybody wishes to maximize their returns and minimize risks from their crypto investments. So today we talk about one such protocol which aims to achieve exactly this. Flint is the home for crypto natives to grow their wealth in stablecoins. It envisions itself to be a comprehensive solution for all wealth management in cryptocurrency, making crypto interactions simple and accessible. To talk about the venture, today we have Akshit with us. So, Akshit is the co founder of Flint and has a well demonstrated history of working in the fintech industry across product roles. It's a pleasure to have you with us today. Welcome to CuratedX, Akshit, and look forward to the interaction today.
Thanks for having me.
Wonderful. So, to get things started, it'll be great to know a bit about your background and what led you to venture into the Web3 world.
Sure, sure. So I think it's more of a bumpy ride, just like everyone else, uh, in the Web3 ecosystem. So back in, I would say, 2018 or 2017. Actually, in the 2017 bull run is when I got and started trading crypto. Like back then, like I used to literally trade crypto 24/7. Like literally, I used to maybe open multiple platforms, see what's happening. Like there was this platform called as CoinX, and started playing with crypto here and there, right? Like, and of course, like one thing that I used to do back then was that I used to set up a lot of trading bots. So essentially, anytime the market used to move, I used to like essentially take those positions and like enter and exit those positions, just like any standard trader would, right? I think one specific instance that I want to share there was that one night the price of Ripple was around I would say 14 rupees, 14 and a half rupees, and then like it was around 10:30 in the night when I got those signals, and I moved my entire wealth into Ripple. And then like the next day I woke up around 5:30, and then like from 14 rupees the Ripple price went to 149 overnight, and then like it went to 230, and then eventually came back to like somewhere around 140 is where I sold it, right? So saw that journey, and then since then I've been deep diving into like whenever this new concept of DeFi came in, the concept of DAOs came in, like the concept of NFT came in, like it was also fascinating, right? So kept on following that track. But of course, on my professional side, started working at this company called a Sprinkler. It's a B2B SaaS company headquartered in New York. Was a product manager there. Then shifted to Cred. Essentially, I think Cred is when I got my first full stack fintech experience, wherein like I built a new business line from scratch, scaled it up, and then like today, essentially that business does really well for Cred, right? So saw that entire journey, built that entire product from scratch, and then in that process, like when I joined Cred, it was around $150 million in valuation, and when I like right now it is at 6.6 billion. So saw that entire like startup to scale journey, and that's how like got that confidence along with my co-founder who's been my friend since like 8 odd years now, so ever since college. Uh, and then eventually both of us decided that hey, we want to do something in the financial spaces, and then like crypto seems to be something that we understand, like we're naturally very curious about it, right? So let's build something for for a niche wherein we can deliver a lot of value based upon that fintech experience or fintech background that we bring in. So that's a quick background about what I've been up to before Flight.
Absolutely, very fascinating. And I think a lot of us fall into this space just by chance and then start figuring out, okay, what's happening? Why is there so much buzz around the Web3 and crypto world? And then slowly things start making a lot of sense about the technology, about the infrastructure being built. And I think that's essentially where your story took you from where you are right now. So just like Rome wasn't built in a day, and I think every crypto idea takes its time to fruition to build a robust business out of it. So on those lines, if you can walk us through where did the idea of building Flint come to you? If you can also tell about the business model of Flint and how has the journey been so far?
Absolutely. So just to give you some background, right? At Flint, what we are trying to do is we are trying to build a financial stack on top of the crypto rails. So imagine that technically, the traditional banks are based upon all the centralized systems. What we want to do, or essentially what we want to become over a long period of time, is that there is this entire economy that's built on top of crypto. People are transferring each other crypto. Everybody eventually imagine, let's say across the world is a crypto owner. Can those people come to a bank like offering which is equivalent to Flint? And then let's say, just like what you do on your bank account, you deposit your money, right? You deposit your crypto, you get interest on top of it. Let's say tomorrow you can use a credit card or a debit card on top of it and use that crypto somewhere. Let's say you can do peer-to-peer payments to your to people, right? You can do peer-to-merchant payments also. So that's the entire stack that we're building today. Now, of course, as of today, the first core offering that we have brought to the market is essentially you deposit your crypto. Let's say you have BTC, ETH, USDT, and like of course we have a list of 18 supported coins as of today. You bring that crypto on Flint, and then it automatically starts getting you interest from the first second you invest in it. Right? You can see that real time counter going in and out. So that's one part of it. But coming back to your first question, I think the idea of Flint was very natural. And the reason I say it was very natural because my co-founder, he used to work on the wealth. He used to manage the wealth management product at Credit. And then what we saw there was that there is this implicit need that people want return on top of their capital, right? And if you hold any sort of asset, you would want return on top of it. Like that's an implicit assumption in the entire world, right? And that's why we took that concept from financial services and got it to the crypto ecosystem, wherein can you will essentially just like why should you just keep your crypto? Why is your crypto not earning more crypto just like it does in, let's say, an FD account or or your bank? So that's the product we wanted to bring in. And that's how we started, and that's how the entire idea of Flint came in.
Absolutely. I really like how you explain it in very, very basic, simple terms because when we're looking at a larger landscape of so many people still stuck to the centralized institutes, still very, very closely knit with the banking world and understanding those jargons, how we relate that and bring it in the decentralized world and very smoothly streamline the crypto environment in this infrastructure as well. I think that's really important for us to, for the mainstream and for the general people to understand, okay, what's happening in this space. So, so to take it from there, like we've been speaking of people, so customer is the king for every business, and I'd like to understand what is your strategy to attract more users and customers to leverage the Flint platform.
Sure. I think this is one part where the Web2 experience absolutely helps, right? Because in Web3, if you look at, let's say, majority of the protocols, they have 10,000 users, 20,000 users. Like very few protocols or very few projects have more than 50K or 100K users, right? Like leave the Axie Infinities aside, which is like a gaming revolution, right? And the learnings that specifically we took from our Web2 experience, or at least that fintech experience, is that customers come in if you essentially find a unique value prop in a unique market space, and then like market it and drill it through various marketing efforts into that customer segment, right? So in our case, right, like the customers who hold crypto are our base customers. And
Yeah.
then the way we attract them is of course like extremely organic in nature, wherein like we spend less than $1 to acquire each customer. So we have referral loops, of course, like that works phenomenally well if it is designed well. That's on the sidelines. But at the core, what we do is we present Flint at these multiple communities as well as these multiple, I would say, online sessions, AMAs, right? And that's how like a lot of people get to know about Flint, right? So that's layer one. That is, how do more people know about it? How do people discover your brand? You just like put yourself in places where all these, I would say, crypto holders would be. right? So that's one. Second, what we have done is to let the consumer take that leap of faith on Flint. We've built immense amount of, or we've given immense amount of focus on trust building via transparency. So our entire strategy is public, where we invest money, so that no customer feels that, hey, Flint is cheating me, and Flint is asking me that, hey, why are you investing there, or why are you investing somewhere else, right? Like, the entire strategy is public, online. Anyone can go and just literally like see that strategy. So we've made that public. They're also very vocal about the returns we provide. We also provide a historic chart that's going to launch very soon, of the returns that is there on each coin. So there is that level of transparency that, hey, I know where my money is going. So the customer eases out. And then the third leg that we have, I would say that we can do that we do an extremely good job at this point in time, is the leg of easy consumer experience. Like, just because, as I said, like, both me and my co-founder, we were product managers at Cred. We've brought in that level of seamless experience to our app. And now, like, I can comfortably say a new version of our app is going to come up in the next 7 days. And I can comfortably say that it is like very much amongst the lines of what Coinbase has built, or let's say what the best of the best companies in the world have built. So across these two, three things, that's how we plan to eventually get more and more customers over time.
Absolutely. And I think these are great pillars on how you strategize on what you're wanting to achieve. And I think we all know that simplified and how UI and UX play a very, very crucial role in getting more users for any application for that matter, more specifically with the newer Web3 applications that we're seeing. So as the ecosystem is evolving, right, so is the number of projects solving for varied use cases across the Web3 stack. So, what is that economic moat or the differentiating factor that makes Flint stand out as compared to any other similar protocol?
Right. I would say there are two core things that we want to really focus on, right? And that is what we've been doing till now. And those also act as pillars for the last question that I answered.
Yeah.
We want to be extremely transparent. See, beyond the point, we are a CeFi platform at this stage. Of course, with time, we do plan to make things more decentralized, right? But as a platform, we are CeFi. But no other platform across the world provides the level of transparency that we provide on our platform. Like, we've been extremely clear that, hey, this is the algorithm, this is the logic through which your money is going to flow, and the value prop that we are giving you is ease, and our research team finding those sort of opportunities and giving it to you, right? So you don't have to put an effort. That is like an extremely good UI, and that is where I would say our strong strength also lies, wherein like we can literally create great consumer experiences. We've done that, we've seen that in our past experiences. So that is one area where we want to stand out. Along with that, I think the core lever of transparency is where we are also like focusing, because end of the day, if there is trust in financial services, like beyond the point, it's consumers money, right? It's consumers hard earned asset. If there is trust in what we are building as a financial service in the crypto ecosystem, then users would come or choose us over any other platform in the ecosystem, just because like there is seamless experience, there's transparency, and of course, like we do a phenomenal job at support as well, wherein each support query is replied within 30 minutes. So that's our commitment to our customers. And the users do understand, and these things do spread over a period of time, as we have seen in other financial services.
Definitely. And I think it is the things that you mentioned are really key and important for any customer to trust a specific platform, because when you're entrusting somebody with your money, you really want to having that transparency. I think is really important to see what's happening with your money. And also, I think customer support plays a really important role. We've all seen in the centralized world itself what's happening, and it is very crucial and important that you know what's happening with your money. Whenever you need some kind of support, somebody's there to help you out. So I think great job on picking on those really significant pillars as well. So take
Sure.
a step ahead from there. So talking about maybe the road ahead and how does the project progress from here on. So how does the roadmap look like from here, and what are some interesting developments that we should be on the lookout for?
Sure. So just to clarify if I got your question right, technically what you're asking is like, what is the roadmap ahead for Flint?
Yes, absolutely.
Got it. Got it. So see, our idea has been very simple, very straightforward. We want to imagine whatever you see in the traditional banking world. If the entire world moves to this new paradigm of, let's say, Web3 and crypto, what are the different services that these people would need as from a bank, from a crypto bank, is what we are building. So
Right.
today, as I said, we have an interest account.
Mhm.
Tomorrow we'll, let's say, introduce debit cards, credit cards. We'll also introduce peer-to-peer payments, peer-to-merchant payments, and then like so on and so forth. The idea is that let's just keep extending on this banking stack, and then as and when, of course, the new sort of adoption wave kicks in, we want to be one of the top market leaders, specifically in the APAC region, is what the entire idea is. Now, just a couple of things that we've been experimenting with, and this is something offbeat. That is, we've recently experimented with an NFT experiment, right? Now, the idea is, can we give loyalty based NFTs or reward based NFTs to our customers so that they essentially have a badge that, hey, I'm a Flint user, right? Hey, I'm a member of this club. So
Yeah.
essentially, we're doing these offbeat things also, which
Mhm.
are essentially, I would say, the bells and whistles of Web3. But then at the core, we're executing the banking roadmap, which is very much evident since, I don't know, more than 100 years now.
Absolutely. That's it's interesting aspects that you're adding on, and I think it makes the entire experience a lot more enriching and holistic for the users as well. So, just probably moving a step away from talking about the project, but the general ecosystem. So we've seen different geographical economies showcasing differing levels of acceptability for the blockchain technology itself, and a few governments even embracing the technology and what the future holds for it. So, how do you consider maybe India as a growing economy for crypto, considering the challenges with regards to regulations and taxation? So, where do you think India stands in the crypto ecosystem as it gradually grows from now?
Sure. I think so. India has some sort of a, I would say, parallel. There's some sort of a dichotomy is what I see in India, and the reason I say that is because I think as an economy, India was the first to, I would say, latch on to multiple innovations. Like, let's say, what happened with the internet. Like, literally every house in India today has an internet just because of a cell phone that they hold. The cell phone penetration has been phenomenal. The smartphone adoption has been phenomenal. Of course, like now the UPI or the payment stack has been phenomenal. Right. So, from an adoption lens, Indian customers understand the core technology, or at least there is a strong attempt to understand the core technology. And that's why I do believe that there is immense amount of potential from a population lens, right? Like people can essentially just onboard into the this new wave, and of course, like India can literally do wonders there. So at least from an adoption lens. But the way I see there are certain challenges is that there is a global uncertainty around crypto, and
Right.
that's understood. Like that's very much sensical because some of the projects have been absolute scams, and then like of course no government would want that their people should be scammed of their money. So that's that fear, and I think that fear usually translates into I would say eventually lesser adoption, even though there is immense potential for adoption, right? So that's on the adoption side. But coming back to the builder side, now I think one thing that I've concluded is that the builders that come out of India, and we've seen Polygon as an extreme example, is the pace at which builders are coming out of India is phenomenal. Like I literally meet tons and tons of Web3 founders, or I would say every month,
Yeah.
just because like the pace pace at which smart people are jumping onto this bandwagon is like phenomenal. So I think it's just a matter of time. If not, let's say crypto, then that some new application of Web3 is going to probably take over India. But A, there is immense adoption appetite, and B, immense amount of high quality builders coming out of India. So just a matter of time when the adoption kicks in.
Absolutely agree with what you said. I think every new technology does take its time, and even the people building behind it take their time to figure out, okay, what's essentially behind the technology and to build that entire robust infrastructure that we're wanting to build out of it, transforming a lot of things and a lot of inefficiencies that we see in the existing Web2 world. It will take its time, and that's where we see maybe bear markets, bull markets coming in. So I think it's all part and parcel of a newer technology that we're embracing with us. So on those,
Absolutely.
yeah, I'll just take it forward from there. So what's happening in the current market scenario? So bear markets, I believe, are a time to take a step back and evaluate how the technology evolves from here and what really stands the test of time. There's a lot of building also that happens during this time as well. Hence, the technology and even the people working on leveraging that technology to make a big impact are important considerations. So, Akshit, I'd like to know what's your view on the current bear market trend and how do you see this impacting the larger Web3 landscape?
Chavi, would you be able to repeat the question?
Sure. I was just asking, what is your view on the current bear market trends that we are seeing in Web3, and how do you see this impacting the larger crypto landscape?
Sure. I think I'll share something that of course like I've recently realized, and then something which is not there on public media yet, right? I think there has been a lot of hype around the fact that every bear market produces good builders, and then eventually those builders build enduring companies. I
Mm,
think I have a counter theory to this, wherein imagine that there is a very good builder, right?
mm,
And when there is the bear market puts extreme amount of stress on that builder, then eventually what happens is that person grows very very fast,
yeah,
and then like eventually as a function of that, the company also grows very very fast. So I
right.
think it's just a imagine like the best people who can sustain very harsh weathers
Yeah.
are people who have been through very cold or very very hot weathers, right? Like for example, I'm from this state called Rajasthan, and like the weather is very harsh there.
Yeah.
Imagine someone who's from Poland, and their weather is like very very cold there. So
Yeah.
if you run through these very harsh weathers, I
Mm,
think by design you can sustain much bigger and bigger challenges. And that is where I believe that bear market is a good time to shape yourself as a builder. And then like from there, I believe there is like immense opportunity, immense things to build. That's one. I think the second part to this is something which I've been thinking about recently. Is that see, if bear market is essentially a time to build the right sort of infrastructure for
mhm.
the next bull run to come in. Like
Right.
imagine you're building, and this is one example that I share with the entire team also. Imagine that you're building this incredible bullet train sort of setup. What you would do is you will set up the railways first, which
Yeah.
is going to take time. Like you're going to essentially set up those magnets and the entire infrastructure. It's going to take time. It's a slow process. It's a boring process, right? Then you'll test your train, which is the experimentation stage.
Yeah.
That's also like not super fun, but at least it's somewhat fun. And then the bullet train would run at like 300, 350 miles per hour, right? So essentially in that entire context, bull market is what we see the bullet train running. But I think right now is the time to build out this entire railway infrastructure, or the entire magnetic infrastructure to support that bullet train when it is going to come.
Lovely. I think that that's a great example to easily resonate with and see that yes, work is happening at the back end, even though we're seeing the markets all in red, but the actual builders are leveraging the technology in the right way and building for the bull markets, like you said. So, as we spoke of the Web3 stack and how we're seeing different kinds of projects across the space, maybe like there's so much work happening, right, with regards to NFTs, metaverse, gaming, DeFi, custody solutions, and so much more. So, if you have to talk of maybe three other projects that you are really bullish on in terms of their use cases, definitely apart from Flint, then which one would those be and why? It's no financial advice, just your opinion.
Sure, sure. Of course, like no financial advice, and of course, I'm not an expert because I don't spend that much amount of time now to evaluate projects. But when I used to evaluate back then, I would be much more confident. But I think a few projects that I am extremely bullish on. What people are doing at Fractal AI, which is like a startup by Justin Khan. He has been there at Twitch, like he's built Twitch, and then he's built like multiple other companies. He's failed also, but now he's like again building this. Right? I
Yeah.
think there is that immense potential of building a single stack
Yeah.
of all the games. So imagine that like all the Web3 games are like right now sort of complicated to enter into. Imagine there was a onboarding stack which is very easy, and then you can enter through it, right? So that's probably on top of my list, and I'm very I'm very excited to see the development there. I think one project which is again like Indian origin based is I would say Biconomy, or let's say Matic for that fact as well, right? Like multiple reasons, but the point is that what these people are building is again core infrastructure. And
Right.
the reason I personally love infrastructure is that imagine that you don't understand, or let's say like imagine that the general users would never ever understand what is gas fees.
Mm.
Like there is no way for, imagine nobody asks tells you that hey, you're paying this, I don't know, shopkeeper 100 rupees because you just took one coffee, and
Yeah.
then you need to pay this shopkeeper 100 rupees in INR, and then the gas fees has to be paid in $1, which is like in USD. That's not how it happens in the traditional world. So if
Right.
you have to really bring in that next layer of adoption,
Mm-hmm.
either layer two has to be effective, which is when like the gas fee is like super low, or
Right.
B, if that doesn't happen, there has to be infrastructure like Biconomy, which essentially builds products like gasless, wherein technically the builder can remove the concept of gas fees from the end consumer. So I think that's the second project. And the third project is something that right now I've been very fascinated about is the entire wallet ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
The crypto wallet ecosystem is how the next generation is going to enter into crypto, right?
Right.
Like imagine there is a wallet on every device. It's inbuilt on every device.
Mm.
What would that look like? And of course, like tons and tons of innovation coming there. Like let's say Argent is there, MetaMask is there. All these are standard companies, but I think there is some innovation that's also coming in terms of Solana phone. So
Yeah.
like I'm just as I would say, imagine every phone has a wallet. That's going to be like phenomenal. That's going to be probably a much bigger shift in terms of the entire world leaping frog ahead versus what we have seen with any other technology till now.
Definitely, that makes a lot of sense. So just one last bit. So we've seen a lot of people transition from the physical space to the Web3 world, but still a lot of people are resistant and still figuring out what does the future entail for the Web3 world. So what would be a piece of advice that you would like to give to new entrants in this space, or people who are still skeptical and still exploring whether they should jump into this sport or not?
Sure. I think this is something which takes time. I like just to be very honest, I think it just takes anywhere between 6 to 18 months to build conviction on something which is like this big.
Yeah.
And then all I would say is that the first step to building conviction is to start meeting people, start reading. Like that's the genesis of anything, right? Like for example, if anybody goes for let's say something like any sort of non-invasive surgery, like or any sort of cosmetic surgery, like I don't know, putting in more hair or getting your LASIK done for your eyes, right?
Right.
The first step essentially there also is there is some sort of fear, but you also know there is going to be some upside there, so you keep reading about it, you
Right.
learn the concepts, right? And only when you build conviction is when you go for that. And when you actually go for that, and imagine if it's a big success, your life fundamentally changes, because like now you're living a superior life. I think it's the same with Web3 as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just start reading about it, start speaking to people, just discuss thoughts. Don't take it with a pinch of salt on day one. And with time, automatically, if you are naturally meant for it, I think you will eventually tend towards getting to that path of getting onboarded to Web3, and either as a builder or let's say as a consumer. And then, as I said, just a matter of time when all of us would have something related to Web3 on our devices day in, day out.
Absolutely. And I think there are so many avenues to reading. Maybe jump on crypto Twitter, you see so much content flowing in. And there are so many avenues to get started with as well, right? Get a part of some Discord, just join some DAO, figure out what's happening. You get a feeler of what people are talking about in this space, and you just ease out into it, I think.
Yeah.
So On that note, I would really like to thank you, Akshit, for this enriching chat today. Like you say, we're certain that sooner or later, everyone is going to become a crypto native, treading on this era of all things Web3. The technology is definitely an evolution, rather than, I'd like to say it's an evolution rather than a revolution, and it brings with itself wide-ranging use cases like we've seen. And Flint is on the right path to simplify crypto for all and make it accessible to the masses as well. So we wish you all the best in taking this to greater heights and in onboarding the next billion users to Web3. Thank you once again for being a part of CuratedX and sharing these key insights with us today.